9 of the 90-day happiness challenge. Yes. Matthew Emmer McLean here, shamanic happiness coach. So, for day 49, we are going to go we're going to go into the realm of developing a little bit more understanding and respect for everybody else's journey. We probably have already been doing that as we've been exploring like the lineage, right? We have this idea of these projections from our lineage and then projections from society. And then we go for day 48, which was yesterday, but I had to repeat the video for you today because of quality. For that one, I asked you to find out what your inner journey right now is calling on you, just in the moment. Now, we're going to look at, because we've done all this other exploration, we're going to look at the parts of the hero journeys of others that we are a part of. We're doing this because we want to develop the understanding that we are connected to this web of life, far greater than we ever thought we were, right? Just because I'm not taking up a hero journey that somebody else is, doesn't mean that theirs is any less important. So we're checking our ego at the door, okay? We're validating everybody else's experiences. So when you come across somebody else and it's like, oh wow, you're on this journey, that's amazing, I love what you're doing, and maybe you're there to help support them because we are supremely connected in this magnificent web of life. So in this space, we're kind of asking like, wow, what other character am I meant to play in this moment for this person or this organization or this circumstance, right? For this type of hero journey. And like if you were to think about watching the cartoon Hercules or something like that, and you're like, oh, okay, so am I one of the council members, or am I one of the people in the market? Am I one of the obstacles for them? And the reason why we look at that is because when we are contributing to the world, generally, we aren't doing it consciously. It's all from the subconscious because things are already playing out. The reality that we live in right now, that we see, has already been created based on the programming of our subconscious. And this is also going to give us the understanding and the experience that, wow, change might need to happen because for me to develop on my hero journey, I might need to be manifested in a very different way to finish off this hero journey. And so what this does is it incorporates like this vigor of change, this new uplifting, okay, like an incorporation of more knowledge and wisdom and, let's say, self-worth in that space too, okay? So let's just say we approach somebody and we have a shadow moment where we are a reflection of their shadow. And usually when that happens, it's quite subconscious. We might be just driving down the freeway singing to some blues or some Disney tunes, whatever. My favorite is Disney tunes. And maybe we're just going slow. And somebody behind us is like, their shadow gets activated because they get really annoyed that we're going really slow. Or maybe we're going too fast, right? Those things, they're just unconscious and we're just naturally going about them. So you can see how we intersect each other synchronistically because we're both just living. And if I'm activating somebody else's shadow, maybe I am playing that huge important growth role right now. And I can step out of having my shadow activated at the same time, okay? Shadow a lot of times activates other shadow, but when I can recognize that in another individual, then I can choose to step out and then just allow the healing to take place. Because if I project my shadow onto them, then our stories become intertwined. Maybe they're supposed to. That's totally for your greatest and highest good to understand. And generally, if we know, let's say, let me delineate for a second about the activation of shadow in an inappropriate way. And that would just be like, the two shadows meet, and then explosions happen, and we have a lot more negativity and less merit yielded from that situation, okay? And maybe there's destruction that happens or something of that nature. Who are we to judge? Because if it happens, it happens, okay? Again, this is a lot of subconscious work. But when we take it to the conscious level, we choose how the new reality is created, how the next moment is created. And so instead of having the explosion of shadow, we can have their shadow do their thing, and then I'm going to go this way, right? And when that happens, we might prevent destruction and we might create more merit. And that's a conscious decision to do because technically time is an illusion. And as we're moving through time, our physical body is the vessel of that. So technically our body is the time machine that allows us to have a linear experience of time. And the cool thing about that is that because we're conscious beings, we are creating a new reality in every next moment. So again, as your programming starts to change, the outside world will reflect that, okay? And maybe your journey is asking you to change some of your programming, to upgrade in some way. So let's say we need to use our shadow for good, though. So let's backtrack that for a sec and go into using the shadow for good. That means I'm going to understand when I'm activated, but I'm not going to act from a place of pain or hurt. When I understand that I'm activated, then I'm going to go, ooh, this is part of my journey too, perhaps. And I can look at that and say, how can I leave this scenario with dignity and so that there's more merit going forward in the world around me? And that may mean that I just need to step back, or I might need to engage in a meaningful way, in an extremely meaningful way, keeping calm, collected, or allowing the appropriate use of ego, such as maybe I'm a lawyer, maybe I'm an environmental lawyer, and I really need to help protect the environment, right? I don't need to let my shadow out, but I can understand that when I witness this destruction, or whatever it would be, my shadow becomes activated, and it's causing me to be motivated to action, okay? And that's part of our hero journey as well. So just looking at that, so there's a lot of factors to the hero journey. When we're going forward in this space, we can understand that we are playing a role in many different stories, okay? And when we look at that and say, wow, how important is it for me to understand my connection, it gives me a platform or a foundation to stand on to have a bigger eagle view so that I'm not stuck in the mud of things, so that I'm looking from high above and I'm actively in a growth phase. And I'm not, let's just say, you probably have heard the terms about the dimensional levels of consciousness, 3D, 4D, and 5D, right? Generally, when we're in the 3D, we're not living a meaningful life. It's just kind of a very shallow life, and by shallow I just mean proximal to going deep into meaning. Maybe I'm just skimming through and just skimming by, and again, I'm not using my inspiration for good. An example, it's kind of funny, yesterday, an example for bringing meaning to life and in caring about certain things is yesterday, my partner and I were able to rescue a dog. That was really cool. So it was just our neighbors a few doors down, but they got out of their backyard a little, I think they said it was a 14-year-old little Yorkie, a little long-haired Yorkie. It's the sweetest little thing. We saw it walking around and we were like, oh no. And so we were able to rescue it and bring it home. And that's like the deeper meanings, because I can step out of the moment and go, whoa, life is asking me, it's activating me right now in this moment. So I'm going to go and play this role. And so who was I in that moment for the other people who, for the owners of that dog? Who was I? Because chances are, like, in the moment, yeah, that was my journey to create meaning, right? But who was I as a character for these other people? I don't necessarily have to label it, but it's really powerful for me to understand that I have that role. Maybe the role could have been seen as a support character, such as like I'm supporting the responsible growth, or the growth in a kind, easy, and gentle, good manner to help those people understand responsibility a little bit more. And I'm not talking about like the well-being of their animal, but maybe they weren't aware of how parts of their existence are slipping away. And I came in as like a little bit of, or we came in, my partner and I came in as a slight little, like maybe a prophet or something like that. We can label it however you want to pick it up and then deliver this information that was like, hey, part of, maybe like they're too distracted right now, you know, part of their assignment has been sidetracked. And so I came in as a side character to help put them back on the track. And it felt good. And then I go, oh, wow, how connected are we? Because chances are that we're going to encounter each other again. And so now I go, wow, we're both here for each other's hero journeys. And we have built respect and connection in that way. So it's a deeper meaning of life, right? So when we're operating in a higher dimensional space, we're looking for meaning in life. You know, fourth dimension is kind of this experiential space of the moment to get us to operate into a higher level of consciousness, one where we don't find competition, kind of a thing, right? So how are you involved in other people's hero's journeys? And also, have you activated anybody into a hero journey? Perhaps they were just sitting in the three-dimensional space with no purpose or a lack of purpose, just feeling apathy or things like that. And by you coming along, maybe you were the activator of their hero journey because of how you acted in the world. And so this gets us to understand, wow, how am I actually operating from day to day? What is my programming reflecting in the creation of this new world? Because how cool would it be if wherever we encountered a lower vibrational consciousness, that we were able to consciously be able to witness that and bring love forth and say, wow, I'm going to help in this space, not from an egoic perspective, but because I care, because I'm in a meaningful space, and I'm going to help to elevate the consciousness and maybe activate a hero journey so that more healing happens within the entire collective, right? We're all along for this ride, and as we leave people behind, it starts to slow down the carriage, so to speak, of our collective evolution, bringing us back to a state of more balance in this world, right? So just kind of ponder those things and realize how important it is that we're contributing to other people's journeys. The last part of this is to understand how, when we do that, are we projecting onto their journey or modifying it from an egoic perspective? So this allows us to demonstrate sovereignty over other people's journeys. Perhaps somebody is feeling very righteous, and they want to activate you into their hero journey, right? And you can go, oh, you know, I don't have a character to play. I don't have a script for that. And then you can go, you know, I love what you're doing. And when I am called into meaningful action, I am 100% there with you, right? And here's my number, here's a contact info, right? Or I'm going to follow your page. And when you post something that's extremely activating that I know that I can heartfully, meaningfully contribute to, you got my back, right? I am here to show up for that. When that script falls in front of me, I'm here for you. Chances are it's going to be a subconscious thing, but when we engage that on the conscious level, then we send out those ripples into the universe to be like, oh, progress, I get it now. And then the collective gets to be, how should I say this, more supportive of one another on their journeys, so that we aren't going through the mud so much, right? It's a lot quicker, and we're not tying back that carriage of progression, so to speak. So go ahead and post about how you might be a character in another journey, and who perhaps you've helped to activate within your journeys, okay? Share this post, document your description there, your how you're playing that role. Use the tag 90-Day Happiness Challenge, and also go ahead and tag me, Matthew Embry McLean, Shamanic Happiness Coach, so I can find you. Okay, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Other than that, enjoy your weekend. Well, today is Saturday for those who are not on the replay. But go ahead and enjoy your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you for day 50. Yes, yes. With light and love, namaste. Bye-bye.